accumulating debt, and Kenya is choking under the debt. So what did he say that he would do very clearly?
Yes.
This is the thing. Kenya is paying too much money in debt that it doesn't actually owe, that we need to stop paying that debt, take that money, put it into the economy and grow it. He came out yesterday and said he would abolish VAT. He would remove VAT. So he's been clear about what his agenda is.
Let me tell you.
Rigathi Gachagua gave an alternate budget the other day.
Let me tell you. No, but the two issues, and we have to give credit where it's due anyway. Yeah. Of all these guys, incidentally, the one whom we think, to give Jimmy credit, the one whom we think we have an idea what they'll do if they got into power is Jimmy. Yeah. And to some degree, of course, it's not running is Okiya Omtata. Because we know clearly what these guys are against. Jimmy, of course, largely odious debt issues and so on. He's been very, very strong on that. Okiya Omtata, of course, odious debt itself, but not as far as he hasn't pushed it as much as Jimmy has, but he has pushed it to a very good extent. And of course, corruption. Those are pretty clear. My issue with our friend Rigathi and Kalonzo with their alternative budget. I think I already mentioned that that's not what I expect from the opposition.
Okay.
That I expect arguments like those that are coming from Jimmy, to be reflected in the budget. They're transformational, if you can look at them that way. It is not business as usual. It's not saying this is what government is doing, but we are, we shall tweak this, we shall tweak this, we shall remove this, we shall spend more in this and that. Because basically that's just a government budget. And that's what all these economists in government do. By the way, that's all they do. They look at what government spent on last year, they look at what might bring in problems, they shift figures here and there, and so on. They put VAT here, they remove, they put this here, and so on and so forth, until the point where they think that, the Wananchi will not have an idea what they're up to, and then the thing passes. So basically what I'm talking about, this is not to say that the opposition do not have ideas. No. But this hasn't got, and Jimmy is an excellent example. This hasn't gotten to political messaging, if I can put it that way. We want to see a lot more of this and this type of discourses becoming part and parcel of the opposition's, normal messaging. And it doesn't matter to be who runs. I think the constitution allows that, and we have systems that will clean up whether we end up with 10 guys running or not. That's neither here nor there. But for me the issue is still that people who run should not just waste our time, honestly. People who run should seriously think about these things, and they should think quite seriously about the possibility that if the gods decide to give them that particular position, they'll have a job to do. We don't want this situation where you become president and then you spend your time celebrating, and in no time the country is headed south. And we see that in all these different positions where guys run around and then, for some reason they win the positions. And then what follows after that is just terrible confusion. And not just at the level of the presidency, that is even at the level of governors, actually. And you can see, I'll not mention names, but let me mention, because this is positive. If you listen to people like Irungu, Kangata, if you listen to characters like those, you listen to guys like Anyang' Nyong'o and so on, these guys were ready to govern. They were not just campaigning. They knew that there's a possibility of winning, and that would come with very, very clear responsibilities and so on. The other one is out, and I'm very whatever. Keep your one. Is out now. In fact, it's in government. The
current chairman of the KRA.
Yeah, exactly, the current chairman of KRA.
Yeah.
We still have breath of fresh air. Those are guys who, if you listen to, they do have ideas. They're saying, fine, I mean, if you get me back to my position, yes, I'm looking at a county as a unit of economic development and empowerment. I'm looking at industries growing. I'm looking at these bonds for fundraising and stuff like that. Yeah. So this is not being too hard on the opposition. What you're saying, and remember, the opposition don't just speak in rallies.
Yep.
They also come and speak in these forums like this. They also write in the newspapers. They also do many things and so on. So yes, they can argue that in the rallies we'll only saying Ruto must go. But surely when you're meeting Omenya, I don't need you to sing for me, Ruto must go.
I get it.
Really, I'm past that stage.
Yeah.
I need to hear a little bit more. And to me, this is a challenge to the opposition, that they should be preparing themselves psychologically to rule in whatever format. And what that means is that then they must be taking very, very clear positions on fundamental things that ail this country. Like we've mentioned, debt is part of it, whether odious or normal.
Right. I mean, Prof, when you look at opposition, as you speak at the moment, there is what Kenyans perceive to be opposition that we see, where it is rallies every other day.
Right.
Ruto must go. We will change this once we get in.
Right.
But we equally must look at that united opposition as individuals who as well sit in these houses where proper opposition ought to take place in terms of checking government excesses and ensuring that the law is pretty much just respected.
Exactly.
But what many, or rather what we are seeing is, we have Ruto must go rallies, fine, but we are not seeing, say, a bad law being opposed with so much vehement in the House where change would occur. Because you have to give credit. One and Ndindi Nyoro, you hear him speak, but you equally see him push that on the floor of the House. If the opposition, as is at the moment with members of Parliament or Senate who are there and bringing this message back to the House, would you reckon that Kenyans would see their metal, what they're made of, and the agenda that they are pushing, and if at all it resonates to Kenya? Where absence of that, then all you're seeing is just rallies and chants.
Dennis, I need like 1 billion Kenya shillings urgently, because I have a job to do. I think we need to we need to flush out fake opposition people, and you know, because you see what you've said is spot on. We have also in the opposition, we have a lot of fakes. We have a lot of fake opposition people, and they sit in the House, they sit in Senate, they are governors in this country. They're part of the rot, and then they appear in rallies, shouting like there's no whatever. Because we need some consistency. That is how we'll know the frauds, and that's what I'm telling Kenyans. All these guys who are shouting to you there, Ruto must go. Audit them. And by there, I'm not just talking about. We also have the positives, by the way. That's why the audit is important. There are guys who are associated with government, who are doing a relatively good job. I'll single out somebody like Dr. Nyikal. If you check his track record and his positions and so on, he's an MP who's very friendly to government. As you mentioned, if you do this audit, people like Ndindi Nyoro will actually pass. Regardless, they would pass, regardless of whether they used to be in government before. Because these guys in the House, you can tell what they actually said, the positions they took on every bill, whatever they opposed, whether they won, or they didn't win. The other one who's very quiet and is in the position there is Karoli Omondi. Same thing. You can check what Karoli said on every single bill that was in Parliament. And that's what I'm talking about, flashing out these fakes. Because these fakes are going to win elections as the opposition. And we'll end up with the same problem we have. Because these same fakes are the ones that are actually, the money that is being looted in this country is being used to fund them. And they're part of the looting, actually. These guys sit in Senate and the oversight counties. And you cannot tell anything that they've ever said about those same counties, the oversight, and they tell you Ruto must go. These are the same characters who are, even when they're in government, they're doing nothing. They're just.
So what I'm hearing you say, that if you